Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Vishakha Raviraj and welcome to the Captivated series podcast. This is another episode with an interesting guest with us today, all the way from South India, Chennai. Her name is Sowmyalakshmi and she is a 3D fabric artist. Of course, this is just a very tiny thing to say about her. She's multifaceted, does a lot of other things. As we go ahead in the podcast, we will understand why I said that she is multifaceted. So, good morning, Soumya Lakshmi. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast and joining us today. How are you?
Doing very good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. So to begin with, usually my first question to most of my guests are to describe a little bit about themselves. So who is Soumya Lakshmi according to you?
Soumya is a mother of two, creative thinker and experimentalist. As my son says, I'm a artist scientist.
Artist scientist, that's a new word.
I keep trying something or the other.
Okay.
And a learner. I love learning, so I'm learning everything every day. I have my own of thoughts and all that. So I'm a dreamer.
Yeah. So aptly put, I think. A scientist who dreams as well as thinks and then of course puts it on table and shows us something creative at the end of all this. Wonderful, Soumya Lakshmi. So could you tell us a little bit about your childhood and a little bit about your background, growing up days, your love with textile and fabric? Did it start early or it came up later?
I was mostly brought up by my grandparents because both my parents were working. So art has been with me from since maybe toddlerhood, because that was the way my grandmothers, both my maternal and paternal grandmothers, kept me engaged.
Okay.
I absolutely adore my grandmothers. I write a lot about them.
Wow.
Whatever art they were doing, craft they were doing, they would pass it on to me and ask me to finish. So that was my time pass throughout the childhood.
Okay.
So it would be something like me and my granny would dig out the clay. I don't know if you know this. In those days when we had the wells in the house, once in a few years, they used to dig out the clay from the well. There'll be a lot of clay sediments in it. We call it turvar in Tamil.
Okay.
And all those clay that is being pulled out, you can't put that anywhere. So we used to make clay dolls with it. So that like our Ganpati dolls for every year were made from that. Or we'll something for we have Navratri Golu in South India.
Yes.
So our family used to keep it. So small dolls for that. So whatever I made was from things around me.
Yes.
So from childhood, like whatever scrap cloth she had, my grandmother had, she would sew something up for the entrance or something decorative for the old gaskets of the pressure cookers and all that. Whatever we found, she would make something out of that, and she would ask me to see, I've started this. This is how you have to complete it, and I used to complete it. So art has been with me from when I know. But I went on to study. I have a master's in chemistry and B.Ed, Bachelor of. I come from a very middle class background, so money was a big problem. So my parents didn't want to think of art or fashion designing as an option for me.
Okay.
And I got married when I was doing my B.Ed.
Okay.
So I was going to regular college and I was married. I wanted to take a break. And I've been doing these art stuff and selling from when I was a teen.
Oh, okay. Selling also.
I didn't get into it with the intention of getting into it. Whatever I had made at home and hung, people used to ask for it and buy it.
Yes.
I had these neighbors who'd come and tell me, even before I knew what customization was, they used to
Okay.
come, I'm going for a wedding. That person loves Krishna, make something with Krishna theme. Or that person is an avid gardener, so I want some floral theme stuff.
Okay.
And I didn't know what pricing was and all that. And these were neighbors and relatives. So they would tell me, whatever is the amount, the bill that you're for the things that you're buying, plus some 100 or 200 for your work.
Okay.
Give it to us as bill and we'll pay it.
Okay.
And that's how I was doing things. And nowadays we have Google Maps and all that.
Yes.
Even as when I was a teen, we had nothing of that. So my dad used to draw maps in the paper, a bit of paper, and give me. I used to find these classes from the Hindu newspaper ads, write them, attend, call them during holidays and ask if I could attend those classes. And with these maps that my dad draws for different areas in Chennai, I'll cycle down.
Oh, wow. Nice.
14-year-old, I used to go from one corner of the city to the other corner based on these maps that my dad was drawing. So I've learned a lot of stuff from different people.
Yes.
And and the selling was turning out to be a pocket money with which I was learning more.
Okay, nice.
So it has been my grandmothers and these teachers who have taught me. Like I've learned oil paintings, textured works, wire bag making, doll making, tailoring, many stuff that I've learned over the years. And I've been selling them from teenage.
Okay.
My mom got me a sewing machine when I was 14.
Okay. What sewing machine was it?
It was a Singer Rotomatic.
Okay.
I think it was a failure model and it was removed from the market. But that's
okay.
I had like till some 9 years back, that's what I was using.
Okay.
So sewing has been part of me from school days.
Yeah.
And I found it very interesting. And slowly I transitioned to art.
Okay. Yeah. So it wasn't a break after all. It was a lot of work in the break.
Yeah.
That's nice. So then that led you to the creation of your Meows collection and Panchalika, is it? Or it was recently that you framed these units?
The name I came up with only like, say, around 10 years back, 10, 11 years. I didn't have any name to it.
Okay.
My Facebook pages and all are like 10, 11 years old only.
Okay.
I had no idea about all that. It was a friend who suggested, showed me a few pages and said, see, these people are doing something like that. Why don't you give it? Why don't you come up with a place where all the pictures of all your work is there, so that we easily say what we want and you can reach more people with it.
Yes.
So that's how the name came. And Soumya, I'm called Meow. That's how from
okay. Okay.
So that's something that came up for friends and people who knew me to see. And so I got Meow's collection. Let's start off with that.
Okay. Okay.
There was no big thinking behind that name. But Panchalika means something that tells a tale. Okay. Means because I come up with these names not by myself. I have, then wherever I don't know things, I give it to the experts to do it. I use all the resources around me really well. I have a neighbor who has done her PhD in Sanskrit. Achha. So I'll tell her this idea. This is the concept, the thing I want to convey. Give me a few words for it. And she'll come up with a few words. And I'll pick what I want from that. Okay. Okay. Nice. So Panchalika came from her thought process and your idea. Yeah. Okay. So you run now by both the names? Like if our audience members want to find you? my website runs with my name, Sowmyalakshmi. Since I started the Facebook page with Mya's collection, I still continue it on Facebook like that. Instagram with Panchalika. But now what I do is all baby safe stuff are all Panchalika on my website.
Okay.
Any other collectible, other kind of art comes under Mya's collection.
Okay.
So that's how I retain both the names, because people know me by both the brand names. So I just retain them.
Okay. So you have always been in Chennai from childhood till now, Chennai. And Chennai is a place, a hub for a lot of art forms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand your inclination towards art. Nice.
You have temples, you have these music dance festivals. So there is a form of art that keeps inspiring you. And both my grandmothers are great storytellers.
Tell us a little bit about what all kind of work you do. So, say for example, I'm a quilter. I do art quilts. I do baby quilts. I do portrait quilts. So, what types of art does Sowmyalakshmi do?
That's very difficult to do. I combine doll making with quilting to create a wide variety of products, because to me, dolls are not just for kids. And I'm looking for different surfaces where these can go up.
Okay.
So you will find me making handbags on one time, then you will find me making quilted books, then there'll be jewelry, there'll be quilts, anything where I can use the fabric, make a doll, and fix it on something.
Oh, okay. So for that's a revelation, because I was thinking you're a quilter who puts stuff, uses quilting for dolls, but now I think it's the reverse. It's dolls who make you do other stuff. So doll is a core element.
A doll maker also, I will not be considered a quilter also by traditionalist, okay? Because I'm using both the methods to create something different. So it is difficult to define.
Yeah. And what is your love with 3D, Sowmyalakshmi? Usually people work, on 2D. They want to keep it flat and simple, but most of your work I see are pop-up and 3D, they have that effect. What is your thought behind that?
Mostly it is based on texture, feel, when you see something, if you see that sari wave fluttering, it gives you a feel than seeing it flat on the surface, right? No?
Correct.
Each fabric has a flow of its own. When we put it all flat, that feel of the nature of the character of that fabric is gone.
Yeah.
And dolls give you a more touch feel, huggable feel. What to say? They are more of something that you can feel than a flat surface. Correct. So, and they help you tell a lot of stories. So clubbing them together gives you something different, something you haven't seen usually, something that is makes you ask, what is this? Why is this coming up? What is the story behind it? So that the curiosity is kindled by something that is projected. Okay. So that is the idea behind giving 3D stuff. And I think of things in a projected 3D format, not flat surface. Flat. Okay, that's your thought process. Yeah. And also with textiles, Sowmyalakshmi, when you're talking so much about texture and textiles, you have learned about these textiles just through your growing up years, or you have studied and read more about it to understand textiles better? I started using them just like that around, it was easily available around. In Tamil Nadu, we have this practice of giving blouse bits in every occasion. We give them for Navratri or weddings. So these blouses keep circulating. Most of it is not used by people. We have nice shiny material to some dull stuff. Everything keeps circulating. So since I was doing a lot of craft, many people were giving me these blouse with saying it looks nice, maybe you will be able to use it. That's how I started getting these fabrics. And dolls and all, trying stuff, and I was using all these only.
Okay.
Almost till my daughter was born, she's 10 now.
Okay.
I did not attend any proper course or class for tailoring or anything related to textiles. It was when my daughter was born, I wanted to have a nice, though I was making dolls and clothing for them, making clothing for dolls is very different from making for humans.
Yes.
So I wanted some nice clothing for her, and I designed something and went to the tailor, and he was like, for a little baby, all this work, don't waste. This is all difficult. Don't waste my time and your time and all that. I got really pissed. I was like, if you can't make, I'll figure out a way to make.
Okay.
When I started making it for a human, then I encountered a lot of issues, technical issues. Then I was like, why don't I go and join a course? And I had this infant in my hand. I had toddler and an infant to deal with. So I went around asking different tailoring institutes if they would let me bring in a baby and sit in the class.
Okay.
So that's how I went to the class. Only one person agreed to it. And she was very, she was like, unless the child is running around and causing nuisance, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
So that's, I used to send my son to school, go and sit there and do the course.
Wow, dedication.
So that's when I learned, and she was like, you are able to do so much. Why didn't you learn all these years? And I had a hesitation. I had a feeling that I may not understand it. There may be too much math in it. I may not be able to. Figuring out math is very tough for me. Okay?
Yeah.
So I was very hesitant. That's one reason why I didn't go in for a course like that. And I went on to finish a diploma in fashion designing after that. I wanted to do something at NIFT, but with a baby in hand, when I inquired about the course and the timing and all that, it didn't figure out easily for me. So then I said, okay, when you can't get that, let us figure out other ways to learn what we can do. And then I went ahead and finished another draping and designing course and also.
Okay.
So that's how I learned the tailoring aspects of it. And the textiles, I come from a chemistry background. So I know the polymeric stuff and all that.
Okay.
And I use that science and this knowledge. And whatever I know of the textiles now is based on the amalgamation of my observations and scientific background.
Okay. So personal learnings as well as little bit of reading.
Yeah,
nice. So the fashion designing bit, I'm sure, is helping you now.
Definitely.
Yes.
That takes a lot to use the machine.
Yeah, okay.
Not just enough if you have ideas and designs in hand. Most people struggle because they can't do it by themselves. So what is in your mind needs to be transferred to somebody else's mind perfectly. And that come out. That is very tough.
Yeah.
So when I learned these, I know it is here. I know how to bring it out. And I will also know what are the challenges that will come in between. Everything on design can't come on paper.
Yeah, just 100%.
So I can foresee the problems and figure out what will be the alternate route to solve the problem and finish.
Okay, fine, Sowmyalakshmi. So now when we are talking about a little bit about your process, can you tell the audience how you go from mind to table? Let's say you get a thought about a project. How do you go about planning it, executing it, and then putting up a final product on the table? So you can take an example of any one of your favorite piece of work, that you have done.
Most often I pick my themes from stories. I'm an avid audiobook listener. Okay.
Oh, audiobook listener. Okay.
Yeah. Whenever I'm working on the machine, there will be an audiobook going on simultaneously. And I will have notebook beside me.
Oh.
Something that I catches my fancy there, I'll note it.
You write it.
And most of it is fiction, non-fiction, history. So I will note down those themes and where it comes. Then I will later, that the words always give me a visual.
Yes.
I can imagine the words than textually getting things done.
Yes.
So as the book runs, I'll have the visuals running on my head.
Okay.
So they give me ideas. Once I have a book full of ideas. I have themes that I want to do. Once I have the idea, and it is all 3-dimensional. For me, it is an image that comes like that.
Correct.
So first time when I hit quilting was because I was finding it difficult to complete a project. First time I found quilting. I'd gone to the Square in studio when Tina Katwal started it. She invited me. We were friends to a group.
Okay.
And, I had gone there and I saw these quilts for the very first time as an artistic piece.
Okay.
I knew quilts as something that you put on when you find it cold.
Bed and bedding, yes.
So I didn't know that there was some artistic angle to it. And the touch and feel of it, it was giving some sturdiness to the fabric, which was what I was looking for.
Okay.
Fabric as such, making it stand as a standalone piece is very tough.
Yes.
So this had something that was giving it a standalone look. So then I said, okay, I need to learn basics of quilting. She thought I would be making big quilts and all that. But I was like, no, I want to learn the technique because I'm going to use it elsewhere. Okay. So now when I imagine a project, I know where I need the quilted portion. I know what backing, what support system I need, from interface to what other support I will need on that, list down. When I have an image, list down. This needs to be a soft surface. This needs to be a standalone surface. This needs to take in weight.
Okay.
In my work, there is a lot of weight calculation. The fabric, the surface needs to hold the weight.
Okay.
So if the weight is too much, the fabric won't be able to hold. So how will I reduce the weight?
Okay.
Bigger piece at the background, but I will have to reduce the weight. So then I work out the different interfaces.
Achha.
And what will be the stuffing inside? We have cotton, polyester, we have felt, many other kinds of things, or a blend of all this.
Okay.
So like if it is a thing that is going to go in for a child to be used, I'll be very cautious about the filling and the overall fabric used. Yes. If it is something as a showcase piece, then I can fill in that thing with anything I want.
Anything, yes, true.
So I will have to figure out all these, who is my final audience, and how much weight, all the calculation done, and my process is always reverse. If the final product has to look like this, what will be the previous step? What will be the previous? So that's how I come back, and my design, the patterns that I make are all final product patterns. Then from that, I will figure out what the basic pattern has to be.
Okay, so you go backwards. That
works easier for me.
Yes, because you are a visual person, you have already seen your final product, you want to just create it. Nice. So approximately how much time does one project take?
Depends on the size and number of items that are there in it. For me, for my work, it's something like making a modak. Okay. You have the stuffing separate, you have the dough separate, you have to prepare both, and then you have to make an amalgamation. So depends on how many individual units are there. Like the weaver that I made took 1.5 months to complete. But I had given up that project for almost a year because I was hitting a roadblock at many places. I was not getting that support. I wasn't able to make it stand alone. Then one fine day, I figured out a way and got back and started doing.
Okay, I remember that project. It went abroad, right, to showcase for a quilt show. But I think it got.
The second round that it went. For the first round, it went to Bible show and it won an award.
Okay, wow. So you're an international award winner also, multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Yeah, wow. So because usually quilters, like you said, people will assume that just making big or small quilts, but I love the way you have interpreted the art to your requirement. So even small objects, I think garments of dolls and all also have a little bit of quilting in them.
Wherever there is a support system needed to make the fabric standalone, quilting comes in.
Wow, very nice. So talking about your projects, could you tell us a little bit about the peacock jewelry project that you did recently? What is it called and what was the thought process behind it?
It is called Vibhushanam.
Vibhushanam. Okay.
That means ornamentation or jewelry. Again, my friend helped me with the name.
Okay.
And I had read this article about the first set of jewelry or dolls or any kind of things that humans made at home could have been fabric after they started weaving.
Oh, okay.
Because not everybody can afford a metal.
Yes.
Fabric waste, once they started weaving and wearing clothes, they could have easily used the remnants for making things. Yes. But since fabric doesn't stand for thousands of years, we don't find any evidence for such things.
Okay.
They get destroyed over the period of time. So
okay.
This essay made me think, okay, then if everything that we are talking about now at home was made with fabric, then there was this story about Lord Krishna. He had saved a lot of women from the Kutch zone.
Okay.
From a Rakshasa. And these women, as a thanksgiving, made small embroidered decorative pieces for him and gifted.
Wonderful.
So that's how you come across these hand fans or decorative house with embroidery, and they have such a long history, but you don't find evidence of it because fabric gets destroyed easily. Okay. So these thought process triggered the next things. Okay, jewelry made by fabric. Then how do we do see fabric jewelry now? Yes. But it is a chain, pendant, or earring, or
bracelet,
where you put in fabric and select bangle. So I thought, why not try something more with fabric? Maybe they use more fabric in a different ornamentation format. Then the only place where I could find a lot of ancient jewelry was in Bharatanatyam costumes.
Achha.
Though we find a lot of reference to these ancient jewelries in our texts, and in a place like Tamil Nadu, you have so many temples with
sculptures. Yes.
So much of jewelry, but once I started thinking of it and I was trying to dig their names out and find what jewelry people used, found we have very less knowledge on that left. Nobody was able to name if I took a sculpture's picture and asked, what are these parts of the jewelry called? Nobody was able to come. Okay. Only 5 or 6 things came up, but that sculpture would be wearing some 30, 40 jewelry. That led me to an ancient text called Silapadigaram. Okay. That was written around, say, 3rd, 4th century, where there is a list of ornaments that the dancer was wearing. Oh. So I came across those names. Then I wanted to figure out these. I wanted to match these names with the jewelry they were.
Yeah.
And again, nobody was able to help me. They said, I think the neck piece. What kind of piece? Nobody had idea. Should be some anklet kind of thing. I don't know. And that's how it came about. For that text has, like, for the ear itself, she wears so many types. For the neck, she wears so many types. So she was literally laden with jewelry.
Jewelry, yes.
And I didn't find reference to those names. What I match them. I didn't know where to look for. And I have, though being a Tamilian, I studied Hindi as a second language, not Tamil.
Okay.
So reading ancient Tamil work is very tough because the Tamil we talk now is very different from ancient Tamil. So one has to have learned it to understand it.
Okay.
I started reading books and started looking for references, trying to understand that level of Tamil because I wasn't very familiar with that ancient kind of Tamil. And that led me to many other people who were working in archaeology or in Tamil literature and all that.
Okay.
And all this idea started in 2014 until 2020. 2014. First article that I read was in 2014.
Oh, okay.
And until 2020, I didn't hit any advance in this.
Okay.
I didn't advance in my research at all. So then I decided, okay, maybe we have lost the knowledge of it. Let me go ahead and do something that we know about the Bharatanatyam costume. At least we have a structure ready. We have a reference photo ready. I can use that and make something in the fabric.
Okay.
Now, once I started making, I encountered many other problems like the fabric was too loose or it didn't have that feel to stay alone as a jewelry piece. It didn't give me the look that I wanted, the finish that I wanted. So I had to work around many once, or either it was too heavy.
Okay.
If I wanted it sturdy, it became heavy. If I was trying to reduce the weight, it was becoming
too
very
simple.
Loose thing that wouldn't give you an appeal of jewelry. So while I was trying to figure that out, I had enough work coming my way, so I just kept it aside and forgot about it. Then again, while I was setting up my studio, I chanced upon this piece when I was clearing my stuff that I had started and left, like what we call UFOs.
Yes.
So then I was like, okay, let me start it again. Now I have better resources, better knowledge on the fabric. Let me start it again. During the online classes that my kids were having, I was sitting in between in the hall, both of them attending in both the rooms. So I would sit in the hall, making sure they were attending the classes and do something with hand.
Doing your stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So I finished one neck piece by hand in that time period.
Okay.
So that gave me a better idea of what all will work, what all will not work. The first sample piece of the neck jewelry that I made, the peacock, I took a peacock as a theme and worked. Each feather of it will have a different technique.
Oh, okay.
Because I was trying out what works and then I finally decided to finish a whole jewelry, what is the easiest method, what gives the better finish and lightweight and all that I figured out. And then slowly I decided what I will be doing and got the design ready. Okay. And as usual, I was having my own work going on, the family going on. So I thought maybe if I give myself a deadline, I might faster. Then I decided 2024, I'm sending it to some show or the other. I decided which show. Okay. And based on that deadline, I started working and I finished it. I started and finished it in like 3 to 4 months.
Okay. So there was a category for jewelry, fabric jewelry in the quilt show that you sent?
Wearable quilted pieces.
Wearable. Yes. Smart. So that's also a wearable. Yes.
Yeah. So this is something I write to so many shows because my work is not accepted in many shows.
Okay.
It doesn't fall under many traditional rules.
Categories. Yes.
So I will have to figure out. I have only 3 or 4 shows will accept something out of the traditional. And that category, I have to figure out how my work will fit into that.
Fit in, yes, yeah, understood.
So and that's how I figured out this show in International Fiber and Quilt Show, and they
Okay,
had wearable fiber
quilted
art
category, yeah.
category, and then I decided, okay, let me send it to the show and finish the work.
Yeah.
I had decided my model even before I finished the work. Who will be modeling it? Okay, I told her a year back, I'm going to make this. Please make sure you're available for it.
Okay.
And then almost in 42 degrees in the summer, we took that video of what I had posted of her dancing Mohini at the jewelry.
Okay.
It was so hot, we had to finish it in a very quick manner.
Okay. That we spoke about the exquisite jewelry that you have made. Let us come to a little, sensitive topic which you brought about during our conversation is facing the challenge of something called as twice exceptional. So, could you tell our audience what it actually means and how does it play a role in people having this kind of a situation?
These are words that many might not be aware of.
Yeah.
We know the spectrum when we talk about the lower end of the spectrum has people with lower IQ. I'm not demeaning anybody, but
Yes.
it is.
You're explaining, yes.
We know much about that because we as a society have understood it and are trying to support those kids. Then there is an average, above average category. Then comes the gifted category. People with very high IQ are called. This is a category that is not understood or not researched upon much because we have a prejudice again. Oh, they are intelligent. Then what else is there for us to find and help them? They should be understood. So that attitude is there. And to understand somebody like that, you should be in a level to understand that.
Yes.
So it is something like this. I always use this as a reference. An eagle can tell you how the entire field looks. An earthworm can tell you how it looks underneath.
Yes.
Both can't explain completely to each other. But a monkey can figure out a bit of this and a bit of that because it is somewhere
in between. Okay.
So when I try to explain an eagle's point of view, I'm telling you about, I'm not saying an earthworm is lesser or an eagle is greater. It is different perspectives. Yes. So eagle will not be able to understand an earthworm's perspective. The earthworm will not be able to understand eagle's perspective. True. So it is like that for the gifted people. People assume that they know, they are so they are intelligent, they will understand everything and all that. Now the gifted category has, on the higher end of the spectrum, many other issues that many of the gifted face. They could be autistic and gifted. Okay. They could have reading difficulties and be gifted. They could have ADHD and be gifted. Then there is ADD, where hyperactivity is attention deficit disorder there, but there is no hyperactivity. It is even more difficult to diagnose, which is very common in gifted. So there are many things that can come into the gifted category. When somebody is gifted, plus there is an additional deviation, it is called twice exception. Okay. So being gifted itself is a deviation from the normal. And plus you have something else, it makes it even more difficult. As a child, I have struggled a lot because I have some reading difficulties. I have a very bad retention capacity. Okay. Especially when it comes to numbers, I can't retain numbers at all. Many people might say, hey, I'm also like a goldfish, I forget everything. But the real difficulty of it, you will know only when you face it. Even if you teach me math in school and I write it 20 times at home, in the exam, I will not be able to give you the final, start with the final formula and solve the problem. I'll have to derive at the beginning and then only solve the problem. Okay. I will know why and the concept behind it, but I can't retain everything. So I will have to derive it from the beginning, then use that formula for the exam.
Okay.
So it's even more difficult for me to finish something that is expected of me.
Yeah, in that time.
Then
yeah.
Why don't you? The brain is wired like that. And and the perspective in which I see things will be very different.
Okay.
My kids are also gifted. That's how I ended up learning about giftedness. I considered myself a failure for a very long time in my life. Okay. Everybody who loved the way I think and work would always say, but you don't do what is expected of you. Okay. My chemistry teacher would tell me, one day I will see Soumya as a doctor, Soumya, and I'll tell everybody that she's my student, But I never went into that stream. I didn't find it thrilling at all.
Okay.
I understood the basics. I was able to solve it. But there was a math angle to chemistry was hitting me time. Our system works in such a way that we have to have a certain amount of retention capacity to get through the exams.
Yeah.
So I never became a scientist at all, as he wished. He was very sure I will become one. My tailoring tutor thought that I will open a boutique and all that. And I didn't do that. Because for me, I don't see things in the way somebody sees it. I use it in some other angle. And the chemistry component of what I studied, I use it in fabrics. I can tell you what fabric is like, why, how it behaves like that, what will be the best use of it. But I will not go and do the science part of it. I'll use it in some. So my perspective things will be very different, which doesn't work in a school or college setting where you are supposed to do what the majority does.
Correct. Understood.
So I considered myself a failure for a very long time. I cursed myself a lot. Okay. Once my kids were I stumbled upon it because of my older one.
Okay.
He was very different from the rest of the kids. He was this 3-year-old who would talk about the beginning of the universe and all that.
Okay.
Okay. Big Bang Theory in age of 3 and all that. So yeah, but you ask him to do basic stuff, he might not be able to figure out. He was this different child who was getting bullied, who was getting isolated, who was finding it difficult to mingle with others. Then one of his school counselors told me, you better get the IQ tested, then we can decide what to do.
Okay.
So that's when I went in for the IQ testing, and we found that's when I encountered the word gifted. And that led me to other institutions that work on gifted. And I went ahead and did a parent counseling session with them. And now I'm part of that group where they discuss a lot with us. We discuss with them. I'm help other people because I have to an extent understood what the issue is, how find an alternate way to solve the issue and all that. So the more I was trying to understand my child, the more I understood my child.
Yes.
And that gave me the confidence of, okay, I'm not that lunatic in the group.
Yeah.
It is just that I think differently.
Yeah.
And I started using that as, okay, this is in my platter. Now, how do I use it to the best?
Yes.
And that's how I figured out my ways of using my capacities to the best. And I'm here where I am now.
That's really good, Sowmyalakshmi. And I thank you from my heart that you brought up this sensitive topic, because a lot of people may or may not want to tell about their challenges. They just want to show the good things about them. So thank you for bringing it up in this platform and opening it, in such a conversational, easy way. Somebody who is listening to it may benefit from, whatever you have said. And of course, I want to tell you that your chemistry teacher as well as tailoring teacher whatever they thought has partly come true. Your son said you're a fabric scientist, so you are a scientist, and you have a studio. So your tailoring teacher also predicted that in some way. So I think you have done justice to both of their expectations.
Hopefully. But my chemistry teacher a few years back, and he was very upset that I wasn't Dr. Soumya.
Okay, but we are glad to have you in our quilting community as compared to a doctor in the doctors community. So now we are almost at the end of the conversation, Soumya. What advice would you give to new people who want to enter this world of, let's say, doll making or quilting? Because these days we see young people, doing a lot of jobs for the sake of money, and they don't really have the patience to go through an art or cultivate it. So what is your advice for them?
This might sound very philosophical, but
Hmm.
finding your best capabilities and being the best version of you itself is very difficult.
Yes.
When you're copying others, it's going to be even more difficult. You're trying to be somebody else. So that might not work in the long run.
Yeah.
So you will have to find something that is you. I bring in a lot of reference from the kitchen. Okay.
Okay.
What is the grocery list given to you? And you will have to figure out some new dish with it.
Okay.
Because if you're going to live in a society and you're thinking about a long-term career, I am doing what I'm doing for a very long time now.
Yeah.
But people come and go often. If you don't, if you want to stay in for a long time, you will have to figure out what is that thing in you.
Yeah.
And market for it.
Okay.
What I have done now is not something that is already there and already has a market. I've created a market for something that doesn't exist now.
Yes.
Been easy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. 100%.
But I have been able to do it. It takes time. And I'm sure I can sustain for a long time because people now come asking for something different. I don't have to search my audience at all. On Instagram or Facebook, I don't have a huge following at all. But my schedule is always filled for the next 3-4 months.
Okay.
I have people coming and asking me for different unique stuffs because they know what is something that will tell you a story that is different and that has that finish she's capable of. So you should have a returning audience and client. Which you will have to have something different that other person doesn't offer. That's something you and definitely take that. In finding all this, you shouldn't end up not taking rest. You may tell yourself that okay, 3-4 years I'll establish and then I can take rest and I'll work till then, all that.
Yeah.
I'm a workaholic, so I've done that. I know what it is. I've been telling myself, once I'm stabilized, I'll rest, and it hit my health very badly.
Okay.
And it is only in 2024 I understood what actual rest means.
Okay.
And only this year I've cultivated the habit of taking one day compulsorily off just for myself.
One day in a week you take off compulsorily.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It is not a
Wonderful.
weekend. We take off on a weekday because weekend is more hectic than
Yes.
So that one day is only for myself.
Okay.
No internet, nothing that will make me worry about something, or I don't want to look into other people's life. That one, I like traditional stuff: oil massage, oil bath, eat early, sleep off in the afternoon, relax, do some hand work, think over how, or reflect on how the past was. Whatever it is, I'll make sure I don't get worked up that day. And that has helped my health a lot. Jahan hai to jahan hai. So you have to have to achieve that goal.
Yes.
This year has been a year of maximum productivity for me personally and work-wise.
Okay.
That 1 day of rest per week has improved my productivity drastically. So these are the two things. One, try to find something that is you.
Yeah. Be you.
Version. And
be you and give that you a good rest. I think I should follow that too and take 1 day a week off.
Somebody, one of our quilters has opened her store recently, and I had asked her, are you sleeping at night properly? Are you having enough time to sleep? And she was like, you are the only one who was asking me this. But we don't ask others how we think, oh my God, she has opened a store. Now I have to do it and all that. We don't think what is going behind it. We see what is on screen. We don't see behind the screen.
Correct.
That is where we have to fix things.
Yeah. Wonderful, Sowmyalakshmi. On that note, I think we will end our conversation. A lot to think about and ponder. When I will edit the episode, I am sure I will relearn many things that you have told. Thank you so much for giving us this time. It was a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you for giving me a platform to share. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. Thanks, Sowmyalakshmi.